So our topic is Gauss-Seidel method. The Gauss-Seidel method is an indirect method and an iterative method for solving system of linear equations. So before we understand the algorithm of Gauss-Seidel method, we understand the concept of Gauss-Seidel method. Suppose you are given three equations 1, 2 and 3, that is 2x minus 1 minus x2 plus 0x3 is equal to 7, minus x1 plus 2x2 minus x is equal to 1, 0x1 minus x2 plus 2x3 is equal to 1. This equation is in the form of dominant form, in which the coefficient of x1 is greater, in second equation coefficient of x2 is greater, in third equation coefficient of x3 is greater. So what we do, we calculate the value of x1 variable from this equation 1, that is this. From equation 2 we will calculate the value of variable x2. From equation 3 we calculate the value of variable x3. So these are our respective values for respective equations. Now what we do, we take our initial guesses. X1 is equals to 0, x2 is equals to 0 and x3 is equals to 0. We put x0, x1 is equals to 0 in first equation. We put these values in first equation. When we put these values in first equation, I will get a new value for x1, that is 35. Okay, then after it, this what I do, I put the values of x1 0, x2 0, x3 0, and we put the new value of x1, that is 35, here in the place of x1. Okay, but in previous Gauss-Jacobi method, what we do, we put here is also 0, here also 0, here also 0, we put all values 0. But in Gauss-Seidel method, we put the calculated value of x1. After x1 I calculate the value of x2, then this calculated value is put into this equation, third equation. So this is the difference between Gauss-Seidel and Gauss-Jacobi method. After getting new values in second iteration, I will go for second iteration. In second iteration, I will get a new value of x1. This new value of x1 is put into here. Okay, and then the remaining values are put into the previous values, and then new value of x2 is calculated. Then new value of x2 calculated will be put in x3. So this keeps working iteration. These iterations keep working until the values of x1, x2 and x3 converge at a point. The points where these are they are going to be converged are the solutions of the system of linear equations. Now we are going to understand the algorithm of Gauss-Seidel method. First we start, then we arrange the system of linear equation in dominant form, then read our tolerable level E. We convert the first equation in terms of first variable and second equation in terms of second and third equation in forms of third. We set initial guesses for x0, y0, z0, and we substitute value of y0, z0 in first equation and obtain the value of x1. And we use the new value of x1 and z0 in second equation obtained by step 4, and we calculate y1 and put x1 and y1 to find the value of z1, and so on. In seventh step, we check if mod of x0 minus x1 is greater than e, and y0 minus y1 is greater than e, and z0 minus z1 is greater than e. If this is true, then we go to step 9 and print the value of x1, y1, z1. If this is not true, we set the new values of x0 is equals to x1, y0 is equals to y1, z0 is equals to z1, and go to step 6 and perform the steps again till we get the x1, y1, z1. So this is all about the algorithm of Gauss-Seidel method. Now we are going to understand the C program for Gauss-Seidel method. First we declare the standard libraries, then we declare three functions, float f, float s and float t, which will be for our three equations, which will be written here, and their value will be written. You will pass the argument x0, y0, z0 for equation first in float f, then new value calculated x1, y0, z0 in float s, then new value of x1, y0 and initial get z0 in this t. Then becomes the main function. In main function we declare x0, y0, z0 and x1 as our initial guesses, x0, y0, z0. Then x1 is equals to 0, y1 is equals to 0, z1 is equals to 0. Then our temporary values temp x, temp y, temp z and e. We enter the initial guesses. Then we have a do while loop which keeps working until this three condition gets false. The do while loop, we put x1 into temp x, y1 into temp y and z1 into temp z. Then after it, we pass the value of x0, y0, z0 into f function and store it into x1. Then we pass the new value x1, y0, z0 in s and store it into y2. Then we pass x1, y1 and z0 into z1 into this function t and store the returned value in z1. Then we increase the I by 1 and we store the respected values x1, y1, z1 into x0, y0, z0. After coming out of while loop, the last value calculated for x0, y0, z0 will be our the last value calculated for x1, y1, z1 will be our solution for this equation. So this is all about the C program for Gauss-Seidel method. Now we are given a question that three questions are given and we have to solve it by using Gauss-Seidel method. So first we arrange these equations in the form dominant form and then we calculate the variable values of x, y and z from these equations 1 to 3 and we get as x, y, z as 4, 5 and 6 equation. And we enter our initial guess 0, 0, 0 in the equation 4, 5 and 6 and we calculate the value of x1, y1 and z1, but it is not like Gauss-Jacobi method. The x1 calculated here will be kept in the y1 in the first iteration and the calculated value of y1 will kept in z1 in only first iteration. Then the new values of x1, y1, z1 in second iteration will be kept into x2, y2, z2. In x2 the value calculated of x2 will be kept in y2 and we calculate our new y2. Then this y2 value is again kept into z2 and we calculate our new z2. And this in third iteration we kept this value of x2, y2, z2 to find x3, y3 and z3. So when we find the values of x, y and z in iteration 1, 2 and 3, we find that the values are not converging at any point, so these equations are divergent, so that solution cannot be found.